Okay guys, here we are back at the bench and a couple of bodies to show you, which is always really cool. So I'm gonna jump straight into this one because there's a little bit to say about it, but I don't want to drag it on too much. Essentially what we have here is a Strat body. It is obviously three-tone Sunburst, which you can see, two-piece holder. Got the scales set up here, so what I'm going to do is as usual, I'm going to take all this stuff off, stick it on the scales, which I've just turned off the minute I went to put the body on it. So here we go. Right, we're going to be doing pounds and ounces. 4 pounds 4 ounces, well 0.1, which is 1.930 kilograms. So that's pretty cool. It's a good weight. Now, again, you might look at this and think, yeah, it's a Strat body and it's a three-tone Sunburst, we can see that. But this is actually the first one in a series. Well, I say a series. This is hopefully going to now be the case going forward. I want to say that. This particular body is the first one you're going to see of many, which is actually aniline dye UV faded. So it's a bit of a mouthful, but this is essentially what used to happen back in the day, and it's still actually what a lot of luthiers use aniline dyes, for the whole aging thing. I know that luthiers that build single cut P90 guitars and double cuts as well, even normal Les Pauls, they are subject to aniline dyes, and you get that really faded lemon, I think it's lemon burst it's called. So essentially what this is the first, as I said, of many bodies which are going to be showing up. Now the cool thing is this wear that you see underneath, you can see this line here where the pick guard or scratch plate was. That is actually, you can see a little bit down here, that's actually UV faded. So that is as close to humanly possible as I can actually get this process. So I'm really excited. I'm trying to hold back a little bit because I've been so desperate to show this off. But this is actually the first time you're going to see it. This guitar body has not been on Instagram. It has not been on Facebook. This is the first time. So it's an absolutely killer piece. Now the reason I'm going to really hold it up to the light is it's got some absolutely glorious checking on it. But you can see just as the strip light runs, you can see that's the camera or the iPhone on the stand. But you can just see how lovely and tight that checking is the whole way down. Now, what's absolutely incredible about this is that the overspray actually carried the dye right into the middle. So essentially, it would have covered this entire section here, was actually covered in dye. Isn't it absolutely incredible? I find it absolutely incredible, and I love the process. I love seeing other people do it. I absolutely think this is so cool. So this was not yellow, this entire section here. So this is all faded back, which is absolutely awesome. Now, over the next however many years or decades, if this is still around, this should continue to age and fade, change color a little bit, and that's for me a massively exciting part of this process. And I can't wait to see these bodies later on. I'm just going to put the scales back. So as you can see again here, just around the spring cavity, we've just got that faint line going on, and that's again where the UV has faded some, but not all of it. For me, it's just, we all talk about replicas, and I've always said I don't do replicas. I think that would just be silly to start. Anybody that says they do a vintage replica, it's kind of dodgy ground. I don't, and I'm very open about that, and I always have been. But there are details when you kind of sync them all together, lovely deep contouring, very, very deep on this one. The nature of the Sunburst itself, I would say leaning towards an early to mid 60s, probably more, I think somebody would probably lean that towards a 64, 65 sort of vibe. But this will continue to fade. So you'll end up, I would assume, with a thinner bit of red going on. So I think from where this started to where we're looking at it now, I cannot get over the difference. It's absolutely incredible. Again, I'm super excited because this is the first of many, and it's going to be one hell of a ride. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic, and it's been fun. It's actually been fun. It's just lovely being able to experiment and play about with stuff, see how it's working, what didn't work, how can we change it. You know, you look at vintage examples of these guitars and they're all so different. No two are the same. They've all got their little quirks going on. But for the most part on this one, I think the idea was, you know, you can go really heavy. The general opinion on these is that more people that talk to me about three-tone Sunbursts want these really heavily aged, paint missing, and you know, big worn patches up here and paint missing around the edges. Sometimes it's okay to just go, do you know what? That is a very, very pretty guitar. It's going to make a lovely, lovely instrument. And the funny thing is, there's actually probably more aging on this because of the actual UV fading than anybody realizes, or that any amount of paint being taken off could bring it up on par. This has had a lot of aging, and you can actually see that again just with how tight the checking lines are and how much that original color has faded. You can actually, I mean, you can see it right here. So this is now starting to really get into, at first glance, we're just trying to give, I don't know, it's not really a case of trying to replicate anything, or just picking out little details that can be done without crossing into we're trying to fake something in a bad way. Because I've seen bodies that are new being faked and used and sold on as vintage, and obviously that's why I've got stamp in the neck pocket. But just to be able to say, hey, do you know what, I've got a three-tone Sunburst and it's been UV faded because it's got aniline dye, and when you pop all the plastics off, well, you've got evidence of that right there. So there's your original color, and obviously we're coming out to this is more like a deeper red. We're coming out to a more orangey sort of red here. I think I can see that on the camera, so I'm assuming you guys can see that. Just this little hint here. It's particularly dark here because they never sprayed anything under here because of the cost of red paint and pigments, and you multiply this by tens of thousands of guitars, and you know, you save a lot of paint. So Leo Fender was definitely onto something by not spraying under the cavity. So it's really just this area here that you see that extreme contrast between this and this section over here. So all in all, what an absolutely killer piece. Absolutely killer piece. Got all the usual details. There is a dowel in there somewhere. I can't see it right now, but the light's not in my favor at the minute. I'm doing this video a bit earlier in the day than I usually would. So, well, there's one dowel there, which is pretty cool. Paint nail holes, just for anybody who wants to know what that looks like. They would have put pins in the bodies, and this is when they used to put them on a Lazy Susan and they would rotate them. But they would flip them over and they'd have to rest them on something to keep them suspended off the ground, obviously, because the lacquer's wet. So they used to put pins in at various points. You usually get 4 pins on these, and you can actually see it here as the light catches. So they left these pins in, and as whoever's spraying it's going round, it's leaving a shadow, it's leaving, you can just see it. So obviously it's pointing that way, so paint would have come around from this side and shot that way, which is really cool. But it's very clear. It's very clear on all of them. It's a lovely little detail. It's something that I think when you tie it all together, I think when you tie in the fact that this is an aniline dye UV faded body, paint nail holes, dowels, rider marks, it's just cool. You know, it's just a nice thing to have. So I'm really excited to get this one up on the website. I can't wait to see who grabs it. So what we'll do is we'll wrap it up for this particular body, and we'll jump on to the next one, which I think there'll be quite a queue for. So let's do it. And here we go. This is the second body for tomorrow night's drop. Tomorrow is Friday the 26th of April. This body is GE0399, and for anyone who was paying very close attention, which I wasn't, the last body was 0398 because I forgot to say it. So I did one of these a few weeks ago, I think, a few weeks ago now, but it was more a white burst, mid-50s style. You know, you could use it for a white guard or a black guard, but this one is very much geared at somebody wanting to build an early 50s sort of telly or broadcaster, Esquire, whatever you want to do with it. So we'll talk about a few of the, I suppose, the details as we usually do at the start. I'm going to put the scales on, get rid of some of the hardware, and we'll find out how much this weighs. Now this is a two-piece Swamp Ash body, and kilos first, it is 1.924 kilograms, which is 4 pounds 3.8 ounces. So get rid of that. So as you can see, a typical blonde telly body with a lovely grain. Gone with a reasonably down the middle sort of colour for this one. I didn't want to go too orangey, pumpkiny, so kind of gone for that more, I would usually call it like caramel sort of shade. You can see more of the original tone of that colour underneath the hardware. So in typical fashion with the blondes, which I actually really enjoy doing for some very strange reason. I don't know why I don't do it on other ones more often, but all the hardware is included. So you're going to get your Bakelite phenolic fiberboard pickguard, you're going to get an age bridge with compensated brass saddles, and as usual you're going to get knobs, the jack socket, which again gone with the electro socket, just to make it a little bit easier for you guys. Don't want anything too crazy going on. We've got strap pins as well. Got a pair of them. There is black felt to go with these, and neck plate. And you'll see in a minute the ferrules are already installed in the body, as something I like to do with all of them. And one last detail which I think is pretty cool, and as I say that I've actually lost, oh there we go, I've lost one of the screws. Probably not going to get focused properly, but that's a slot head screw, and the entire guitar comes with flat heads. So you're going to get flat head screws for the pickguard, you get 2 for your control plate, the bridge, strap pins, and the electro socket. So, and 4 for the neck plate. Can't remember if I said that, but yeah. So let's take a bit of a closer look. Some of this heavily aged on the pickguard. I don't seem to get too many people asking for these to be lightly aged, so heavy aged is the way to go at the minute. I might do some, you know, just for stock, just for the website, but I think when you're trying to tie it into a body, it's pretty cool just being able to tell that full picture of what's going on. So if we get more into this now, we can have a closer look at some of the aging and the checking. Lots of edge wear for this one, lots of dings, scratches, broken paint, but nothing drastic. There's a bit of arm wear, nothing too serious, and you can see just how cool that checking is. also note just how that lacquer is sinking into that grain beautifully. So just to have all those details, because usually if you get that sunken look, a lot of people would prefer the sunken look. It's something that you might struggle to do with the spray cans or the aerosols. You get the sunken look, but then you don't get the checking. So that's where some people would fall foul. But this one, beautiful grain, especially on the back, and you can just see the lovely checking. Again, just a little bit of wear just around here. Nothing too crazy. Lots and lots of buckle rash on this one, but again, nothing, you know, no broken paint or anything like that. So we've got the original color again underneath where the neck plate would go. Lots and lots of edge wear, especially on the back. Just love that, leaving the body itself kind of untouched in a way. Nothing too crazy going on in the middle of the guitar, and just letting the color, I don't even know if this is actually coming through properly on the camera, but just letting that grain kind of do its thing, which is going to look absolutely killer with a maple neck, a nicely worn maple neck with that, just to complete the look really, really nicely. So yeah, really, I think along with the Strat, this is going to be a really, really cool week for the drop. But I do get asked quite a lot for these blonde bodies, and I'm going to make a point of doing more of them. So the good thing about this is, in a way, there's not maybe as much to talk about on these as, you know, you'd like to, you know, because because I have started doing more of these. They're all, you know what you're getting with these. I don't have to explain, I don't have to explain much about this. Tell you the weight, tell you how many pieces it's made up of, that you're going to get all your hardware, you're going to get all your you're going to get all the screws. So it's just another kit ready to go. So look out for pictures on Instagram. All the details will be up on the website. Lots of really, really nice photos will be coming your way shortly. So until the next one, let's wrap that up there, and I'll see you all soon.